All right, it's on. Purpose of this video is it's hopefully going to help some people that are struggling with the color sanding process of doing their own paint job, or professionals out there doing quality work. Anyways, one of the biggest struggles with the color sanding process is knowing if you're starting out with a coarse grit and you're working your way down to a finer grit before the buffing process, is knowing when to start with the next grit, stop with the one you're working on. So you need a visual aid, and people have known this for years. Applying a guide coat can really show you where you're at in the sanding process. And traditionally, guide coats have been on, in the bodywork stages and primer. A lot of them are spray-on guide coats, aerosols. You can use old lacquer, primer, anything that's going to give you a contrasting color to sand off to show you where you're at in the sanding process. No, there's dry guide coats. 3M, I've tried 3M, I've tried Mirka. The best one so far that I've tried is Kovacs. It's made by Eagle Abrasives. Pretty much anything made by Eagle Abrasives is really good stuff. But I still don't like the dry guide coat compared to another process that I use. And that's what this video is about. So for a while now I've been using this stuff right here. This is a concentrated paint pigment for water-based finishes. Sold by Stuart McDonald. I always kept white for the dark colors, black for the lighter colors. And I mix it with alcohol. And you can use isopropyl alcohol. If you're going to use isopropyl from Walmart or someplace, I'd get the 90% stuff. Or you can go to your hardware store and just buy denatured alcohol. So as far as figuring out a mix ratio, I try to figure it out. I mean, I usually just put a little bit until it looks right in a mix cup for me. But if you want to start with like 20 drops per ounce of alcohol, that'll get you pretty close to start. If you need it stronger, add a little bit more. If it's too strong, take a little bit out. Load it up in the junkiest gun you got. Or if you got an old siphon feed, you might want to just keep it in the siphon feed. Throw some marbles in there, shake it up once in a while when you're using it, and it's ready to go for you whenever you need it. But I'll spray a little bit on here. I just got a little detail gun. I'm going to use a ratty gun here. And, you should be wearing a respirator, good ventilation. Nothing in this kind of work is good for you. You gotta keep safety in mind. I've got the door open, so I've got some ventilation here, but a little bit of alcohol that's evaporating up into the air. And if you think about it, if you're cleaning something with alcohol, say you pour an ounce or two on a rag, that's going to evaporate and get in the air too. So there's a fire hazard probably with this. You wouldn't want to be smoking when you're spraying it, but you see how quick that flashes off? You want it to go on wet, because you want it to go down in the scratches, but it flashes off really quick. And that's that. It's on there, okay? And it's super thin. It's almost like machinist dye. So there's that. Now, this car was dry blocked with 600 grit. PSA, sticky back, 600 grit. Some of it was done with 800 grit, but for the most part 600 grit. And then guide coated, like we just did. And it was sanded with 1000 grit. Now I'm at 1500 grit, and I'm not using sticky back anymore. I've gone to the basic wet or dry. This is Norton. This is good stuff. 3M's good stuff. Meguiar's good stuff. Stay away from the China eBay stuff. It'll bite you. So now you just go through your normal wet sanding process. And you can see it sanding off here. And then you use the blocks of your choice, or do it by hand, or use a soft pad. Whatever the job you're working on dictates, you know. This is a higher end job, so I'm using hard block through 1500 grit. When you go to 2000, 3000, it'll be with a soft block. But you can see the lows, you can see scratches. If you've got any road scratches from the grit prior, they're going to show up. You're going to know when to stop sanding. Interesting thing about this is, well, one of the interesting things is, let me grab a rag here. Now, if you get it, you notice the jams aren't masked off, so there's going to be, let's see, probably 4 applications of Guidecoat. And you see the oversprays piling up in the jams. The whole reason I'm doing this together is I like to do the block sanding and the buffing with the hood in the closed position under full tension, the way it's going to be on the car. You think about it, there's upward tension here, downward pressure at the latch a little bit. The hinges are supporting in the corners, and I've got the rear of the hood shimmed up where it would attach, you know, rest on the cowl panel seal. So this is an exact position it's going to be done, and there's going to be no ripples, nothing's going to change from the open position to the closed position. It's stable, if that makes sense. But back to what I was talking about, there's overspray in the jams. Look, I got overspray here. This is a non-sanded area. This stuff comes off with glass cleaner, Dawn dish soap, pretty much any kind of detergent will take it off. So you can't really use, you see that washes right off. So when I'm done here, I'll be able to wash it off the jams. Absolutely no problem. But you can't put dish soap in your wet sanding water when you're wet sanding. I don't know, I covered some, I guess I covered what I wanted to cover. We get into a lot of other things. We could talk about sandpapers. That could be for another video. We could, blocking techniques. I got, one heads up on this stuff, guys. If you're using any of this linear blocking abrasives, it's really crudely cut. This is PSA, wet or dry. I've used it for wet. It's decent paper, but all these little frills, you see all this, it's cut really crude. Make sure you don't trap any of these particles in the adhesive between the paper and your block, or get any of these loose in your wet sanding slurry, because it'll act like you just threw a piece of 100 grit into the mix and really screw up your day. There are other options if you're looking for a sticky back wet paper, Klingspor, made in Germany. This is some really good stuff. And this stuff's made in Sweden. This is, I can't even remember it. This is really nice stuff. Ecomant. And this is Eco Wet. It's a sticky back paper for wet sanding or dry sanding. Well, one other thing. Let's see what else. Oh, there's lots we could discuss here. If you're using Trizac, whether it be the DA pads or you're doing it by hand, you know, you can get these in hand pads, 3,000, 5,000. I think they're making 8,000 now too. But the 3M Trizac is getting ridiculous in price. There's a company out of Detroit that's selling their version of it. It's RBL Products Incorporated. They make Grit ranges from 1,000 to 5,000 in 3-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch pads. And they last longer than the 3M stuff. I don't know why, but I've tried the 3,000 grit so far, and it's really impressive. So, and it's cheaper. I think it's about 30% cheaper than 3M. So, if hopefully this video, sorry for the unprofessional quality of the video, but that's that. I don't know if you want me to do any more videos, if this helped you in any way. If you're using a product that I don't know about, put it in the comments. But let me know. I can do more videos. We could do crumps. I could do 8 hours on blocking. I could do lots. Anyways, have a good day. Hope your projects are going good.